sacrifice this egg. That's an Elish Norn. Well, that solves all the problems, because Elish Norn just got rid of that Magus of the Moon. Today on Commander Replay, we check out this Patreon-submitted Atla Palani deck and find out if our opponents can survive the Naya Onslaught. Next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have 3 new Patreon supporters in Generalissimo, Poison Sugar, and Michael Blanchfield. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Welcome back, everyone. We are playing some Atla Palani Nest Tender today, and today's deck list comes to us from Patreon supporter Alex. Take a look at this opening hand. It's got lands, it's got a sack outlet, that's cool. We got a Thaumatic Compass, generate some value, get a little protection. I think that's all pretty good. We'll go ahead and keep that. Scry Temple for opponent. Brings it to our turn 1. There's a Rampant Growth. That'll actually be really helpful. I did upgrade the land base in this deck. Had some trouble importing the deck list, so I copied the land base over from my Atla deck, which has all the fetches and stuff, which is cool. Few changes there, but shouldn't be a big deal other than it just increases the consistency of making sure you have the colors you need. I think we can just get like a Temple Garden tapped right here. So we'll go ahead and do that. And we'll pass like that. So this is a combat-based Atla deck. And so we see things like Gisela, Aurelia, Adriana, Xenagos, Samut. And we also got some green stuff in here too. We got Elder Gargaroth, we got Angel of Destiny as a newer one, kind of cool. Orin Frostfang, really good for drawing cards. So this should be a cool little deck. Alex is a Patreon supporter, obviously a fan of the channel, has taken inspiration from a lot of the things that I've played over the years. So, you know, a lot of Angels in here. We got an Elish Norn. A lot of my favorite cards in this deck. Should be a pretty cool time. One thing I did notice, it does seem like we are probably a bit removal light in this deck, so hopefully that doesn't come to bite us. But I'm sure I'll probably have a few recommendations at the end of the game, and we'll see if we can work out some kinks in that department. But looks like opponent went Soul Ring into Walking Atlas, and then the Ghen opponent got themselves a Talisman. And that brings back to our turn. There's another fetch land. Play the Wooded Foothills, crack the Wooded Foothills. Let's get Taiga. Play the Rampant Growth right here. We'll get a Plains, I guess, because there are some triple whites in the deck. And we've drawn a ton of fetch lands, so the fetch lands will also help with the dual colors. Should be able to take care of our red and green pretty easily. Hero's Blade for opponent. Oh, yeah, this is going to be good. The damage is about to get real. So, Fish Said Fish piloting Rograkh and Kediss. They just dropped in a Hero's Blade, then cast their commander, which free equips to the Hero's Blade. Now they've got a 3/3 Rograkh, and if they make their next land drop next turn, we're going to be staring down 9 commander damage, or at least someone's going to be staring down 9 commander damage. That's a lot. Looks like Zombie getting stuck right there. Felidar Retreat coming into play. Brings it back to our turn. There's a last-ditch effort. Could be helpful. Let's go ahead and get... What are we getting? Let's play Arid Mesa, crack Arid Mesa, get Savannah, cast Atla. So I've talked about Atla Palani a bit in the past. I think it's a really cool commander. It's definitely on the strong side if you want it to be. Like, cheating big creatures into play early is a pretty good plan. And Atla is way less glassy than something like Kalia. Oh my. The Fish just fired off a Jeska's Will and got themselves 6 red mana, has a bunch of things. Oh, this is gonna be bad. Yeah, they could go Magus of the Moon, lock us out. We have 1 Plains currently. These will turn into mountains. Thaumatic Compass can find us a forest if we need it. Yep, there's the Magus. And I think they're on a choice between Key to the City and Cleansing Wildfire. I'd probably go Key to the City. Key to the City is a pretty good card. Cleansing Wildfire, there's not really a land worth shooting, plus you get 1 back. Nope, they go for Kediss. There's also that. Yeah, Jeska's Will is a really serious Magic card. It is very, very good. Especially on turn 3 like this. On turn 3, you're almost always getting 6 or 7 mana. There's always one player that has most of their cards in their hand in play. And opponent coming in. Yep, there's Rograkh. Oh, this is Kediss, not... I was thinking Jeska for a moment. So it does 3 damage to each opponent. If this was Jeska... Oh, that would have been so much commander damage. It hurts and it doesn't feel good, but it is not the end of the world. So each opponent also takes 3 damage because of the Kediss ability. Got confused on my mono-red partners. Thaumatic Compass, a card that can get you out of a Magus of the Moon lock. It's a good thing to have around. Athreos, God of Passage coming into play. And opponent did get themselves a 2/2 off of the landfall. Zombie still appears to be stuck. I forget how Sacred Foundry works with Magus of the Moon. Let's try it. Play Sacred Foundry. Okay, cool, it comes in untapped. Yeah, we can just play an Ashnod's Altar and then make an egg whenever the timing suits us. That seems like a pretty good plan. Continuing on our opponents, by the way. Next up, we have Zombie Caller 42 piloting Orah, Skyclave, Heirophant. And it says, when it or another cleric you control dies, return target cleric card with lesser converted mana cost from your graveyard to the battlefield. Pretty cool ability. I've seen this deck a few times out of some people, and it's basically just a cleric reanimator, and it's a fun little black-white deck. Just does a lot of cool things. Being able to get your stuff back is really good, especially in the face of a lot of board wipes and things like that. So it does look like he's having a rough start this game, so, you know, that is what it is. Maybe we'll wheel for him if we can find a wheel or something. Actually, I don't know if there's any in the deck, but we'll see. Opponent going on the attack again. They do get themselves a Sword of the Animus that is now equipped, and they're going to get a land. Rograkh coming our way. It has Menace, so I'm not going to do the egg thing just yet. There might be like 1 or 2 creatures in the deck that like stop that from happening, but I'd rather just like hold this up in case a board wipe or something like that happens and just wait to the end step. Anyway, while I was talking about Atla earlier, one of the things that I do like it, yes, it can be very strong, and it can be, like, punishingly strong, especially if you're not running removal. But the other thing that I like about it is that because it's a strong commander, it's the type of thing where, like, I have an unused Atlas sitting around in my collection right now, and when I have some free time, I may go through and just build an Atla deck out of things that I have that are leftovers, right? Because it's that strong, you don't need to necessarily, like, optimize the deck, and you can play a bunch of big creatures that you wouldn't normally get to play otherwise, built out of whatever you have lying around in your collection, or whatever other random thing you want to do. Yes, you can make it very strong, but it doesn't mean that you have to. Like, you don't have to just go for Void Winnower with Atla, which I think is cool. If you like the cheap big creatures into play style of commander, this is a really good commander for it. It doesn't stress your deck building as much as Kaalia or Mile, which really wants you to have like 30-ish big creatures in the deck so that you don't whiff. The fact that Atla doesn't whiff and doesn't really care about how many big creatures you run in the deck is really, really cool. So it means that you can still build a good deck around it otherwise and make sure you have enough ramp and removal and card draw and all that sort of stuff. And I do like that a lot, especially as compared to Kaalia and Mile. 2-2 going into fish. Yep. All right, we're going to make an egg at the end step here. So we can sack this egg now and be able to attack with that creature. Yeah, I think that works. That works. Let's do that. But we could wait and then like do it again and try to have a little more mana on our next turn, but I think it'll be fine. So we'll sacrifice the egg. We get 2 colorless mana. Let's see what we get. It's a Shalai. Nothing too scary right there, but definitely nice protection. There's an Iroas. Iroas is also cool. Let's play this Ghost Quarter. Use Atla, make another egg. You know we don't have the green mana for that Xenagos. There's an egg. Oh, I used the plains. Yeah, we definitely didn't want to do that. Crap. That was a boo-boo. Sacrifice this egg. Mistapped. That's an Elesh Norn. Well, that solves all the problems, because Elesh Norn just got rid of that Magus of the Moon and that Jeska. Killed some stuff from the Ghen opponent, and it's going to trigger their Athreos. And now we have the mana for that Xenagos, so it looks like things working out. Guys, I got rid of the Magus of the Moon. But at what cost? There's a Xenagos. Yeah, let's pump up the Elesh Norn and give it haste. Go to combat. We'll spread it out. We kind of got off to a big start. Zombie doesn't deserve that. We'll go to Sean. And we will pass like that. Big hits into our opponents. Get those life totals moving. Find out who brought removal and who didn't. Hedron Archive for opponent. Having some fun with opponents in chat. Taps the Hedron Archive. Equips the Sword of the Animist. Gonna send the Rograkh over to Sean. I would be surprised if Sean doesn't drop a board wipe at some point before this game's out. He definitely goes to the same school that I go to on board wipes, which is run a lot of them. Opponent takes a hit right there. Another Sword of the Animist trigger. Fish is ramping. They've out-ramped us. We're the green deck. They have 7 lands in play, turn 5. We're on 6 lands, turn 5. Yeah. Ooh, Iroas will come in as a creature because of the devotion. Zombie makes a land drop, but still looking for white, I think. Drops a swamp and passes. So, I mean, like, if someone drops a board wipe and we get crushed by it, then Zombie could have a chance to get back in this. If he can find some sort of, like, card draw piece or something. He'll need the game to go, like, a lot of turns, but, you know, if he got started right now, if he gets a big draw on his next turn, a board wipe happens, by turn 10, he could easily be back in this. But he'll probably need a Soul Ring to stick around for that to happen. If that gets blown up, then he's in some real trouble. Landfall trigger for opponent. They do the +1/+1 counter thing because the 2/2s die immediately. Thanks to good old Elesh Norn, I've determined that this is the single strongest white creature ever printed. It does so much. Some people might say Sun Titan, and Sun Titan is unbelievably cool. I consider Sun Titan the second best, and second most powerful white creature ever printed, at least for this format anyway. But yeah, Elesh Norn just does so much. Like, Kediss isn't coming back to play while Elesh Norn is in. These tokens not happening. Elesh Norn shuts off so many things. There's always one player at the table who cannot recast their commander when Elesh Norn is on the battlefield. It's so unbelievably strong. Starfield of Nyx in for opponent. Nothing in their graveyard yet. Brings it back to our turn. There's a high market. Play the high market. Make an egg. Sacrifice the egg. See what we get. It's an Achroma. Get this Iroas. Achroma has haste naturally. That is cool. Play this Thaumatic Compass. We're on 7 lands. Sadly, we won't get a land before it flips over unless we want to sacrifice something. I'm not really committed to that, but we'll see what happens. Go to combat. Xenagos, not yet a creature. Put the Xenagos trigger on the Iroas. Oh my god, it has 18 power. That's kind of ridiculous. Let's see if Sean's got any removal. So we'll send 2 to Sean, 2 to Fish. I think at this point we're far enough ahead and opponents seem to be stuck to the point where I think we just put our foot on the gas and try to end this one and go to the next game. Like, we could spread the damage out a little bit more, but opponents don't look like they have the answers for what we're doing right now. So that being the case, and on turn 6, I'll kind of feel things out like that, right? Like, if I know that opponents can still play a reasonable game from that point, then sure, I spread the damage out more. But we're just so far ahead that I think we just try to get this game over with and go to the next one. So Sean goes down. Compass is going to flip over. And the one thing I did notice with this deck while I was looking through it, like I said, very little removal, which means this deck is just really proactive. There's an Oblivion Stone. That's removal. How do we not get crushed by that? These two are indestructible, thankfully. We'll see if they give us an untap before... So if we can make another egg, we might be able to do some stuff. Oh, is this destroy? Yeah, we have Fanatical Devotion. Okay, we can regenerate something. That's helpful. Let's think about who we want to regenerate. Sacrifice a creature, regenerate target creature. The gods will stay alive. Here comes the Oblivion Stone. Let's... Oh, it's an enchantment? Oh, well, that's not going to work. We can... Do we burn this? Could sacrifice 4 creatures to do 4 damage? Yeah, I guess. We'll take down their commander just to slow them down a bit. Oh, we don't have any red mana. Guess not. Guess not. Oops. I have mistapped twice in this game now. Atla back to the command zone. We're still in good shape, though. Opponent saying Teferi ignored my prayers. No Teferi's protection in hand. Yep. Makes me sad. There's that white mana for Zombie, but his Soul Ring went down like we said he didn't want that to happen. And that has now happened. Brings back to our turn. There's a Plains. Play the Plains. Play Atla. Xenagos is going to give it haste. We'll use that to... And then we'll just make an egg while we still have haste. Oh, no. What board wipe did they use? Yeah, that was an Oblivion Stone, so our sack outlet is gone. I'm actually glad we didn't use the last ditch effort now. Because now we need to find a way to kill our egg. Luckily we have some in hand, but, you know. Dragon Mage for opponent. Cool card. One that I always want to use more than I do. Its best use cases seem to be like Black-Red, Rakdos, where you have a lot of reanimation at your disposal. But I always try to get it into like certain decks, and always seems to get cut at the last minute. Like, it's just a little bit less impressive than other 7-drops that are available. So you have to really want it, but I still think it's a cool card, and I would love to play it more than I do. Zombie needs a new hand like there's no tomorrow. Solemnity for opponent. Oh boy. Wonder what that's for. Ooh, this is one of the cards I added to the deck. For some reason, 2 cards did not import, and I just filled them in with things that I thought would be good. Shields of Velasvel is really good for this deck. So if we had this when the board wipe went off, we would have gotten 4 new creatures. It gives everything changelings, so they all become eggs. So when they die, you get all your stuff back, and it's really cool. So let's play this Fanatical Devotion. Let's regenerate Atla. Sacrifice this egg. We get an Avacyn. Nice. That turns Iroas back on. Activate Atla again. There's another egg. We'll regenerate the Avacyn. Fanatical Devotion. Not a bad little sack outlet. At least for this deck, anyway. We get an Angrath's Marauders. Well, this should help us finish it up, then. Xenagos, who needs haste? Avacyn needs haste. Let's send... Anyone got Trample? Oh, they only have 1 flyer. That should be lethal there. That? Something like that? Ah! Zombie survived at 1. And he just scoops it right there, yeah. Yeah, so I think the word right there is steamrolled. We steamrolled our opponents. Like I mentioned, this deck is very proactive. Not a lot of removal in it, so when you have a proactive deck, you want to be proactive, and we were able to do that in this game, and things went pretty well as a result. So opponents definitely want to have some removal for what we're doing. And yeah, similar to Kalia, it's one of those do you have removal right now kind of decks, because letting Atla just do her thing and run away with the game is a really bad time. Lots of big creatures mean you die quickly. So anyway, we're going to fire up another game. Thank you guys for watching this video, and be sure to check out Game 2. Hey guys, next time you purchase cards, if you want to support me and my LGS, be sure to check out mothershipatx.com and use the promo code REPLAY to save 15% on your next order. And if you can't find what you're looking for, you can use the TCG affiliate player link. All links are in the description below.